Hello everyone, artist Charles Wolf here. Let's get to some painting. We're going to start today with some water, a bit of the Ultramarine Blue, a touch of the Titanium White, and maybe a little dab of the Mars Black. You may notice that my palette already has some color smeared across it, and that's because this is the second painting in a series of 3 paintings that I did in one session. The first painting was Elegance, so if you haven't seen that, make sure that you check that out here on my channel. You can watch that painting. It's pretty cool. It's a monochromatic painting, only in black and white. But this painting is the next painting that I painted during this session. And I'm going to grab some of the Ultramarine Blue and the white mix here, and then straight into the Mars Black. The last painting had some wonderful spires in it, sort of jutting upwards from the bottom right to the left. And here I'm transforming that from just being spires into being full-blown arches and half circles cutting across. Grabbing some more of the white here, we're going to lighten this top section up. So I'm moving beyond just having spires to complete geometric shapes, and these half circles are a nice way to break up the squareness of the canvas, which tends to be quite rigid. So having something that's a little bit more fluid, like a half circle, a really neat dynamic focal point for the entire piece. Blending here with my 1-inch brush. The first painting in this set of 3 was a lot of fun to create, using just lights and darks. Continuing with that same idea with this piece, I want to have some lighter sections with a lot of the white added in, becoming a smooth gradation down into some deeper tones here on the bottom right. We're going to have this half circle kind of crossing the middle, define that better as we go along. And then of course on the left hand side, I still need to figure out what I'm going to be doing for that. Grabbing some more of the Ultramarine Blue. Pure blue there, bringing that in very strongly. So as I work on this painting, I am continually adding a little bit of water here and there to my paint, helping the paint to run more fluidly. It'll flow right off the brush onto the canvas, and so adding a little water as you work is a great way to ensure that that happens with this acrylic paint. Again, I'm not thinking too much about each step. I'm merely trying to fill the space and cover the canvas. Back into the titanium white with the dirty brush there. I have 2 planes going on. I have a diagonal plane coming from the top right downwards, and then I have that semicircle forming an arch and moving upwards. So I'm varying my brush strokes. Some of them are going to be going from bottom down, right to left, and then of course anything that goes with that circle, or half circle, will be arching from bottom right up to the top left. And it's the intersection of these 2 planes that creates the interest, and is sort of the crux of this whole painting. Blending in here. I find that abstracts are a lot of fun to create, especially if you're perhaps a beginning artist. It sometimes can be frustrating always working on impressionist style or realistic looking paintings. You can work on a landscape for several hours, and after a lot of effort you may find that it's not quite meeting what you were wanting it to look like, or it wasn't quite looking the way you were hoping. So doing an abstract can be a really rewarding way to work, because it doesn't have to look like anything. You can just play with the colors and enjoy the process of putting paint on a canvas. And it's something that even a child could do and really have a lot of fun with. Taking a 2-inch brush there, that's perfectly clean, and I'm just gently blending this together, softening up everything. Taking some of the titanium white, so using that 2-inch brush, I'm going to start to add a lighter section on this bottom left-hand side. Still maintaining that arch of the half circle. blending here. I find that a key element to painting abstracts, and actually painting in general, is to keep your brushwork active, keep moving, try not to get stuck on any one section for too long. If you find yourself working in one corner for too long of a time, then you're not really moving forward. So I find if I get stuck in a section, I will jump across, work on something else, and then come back to it after I've had a time to think about it. But if you just get stuck working on the same section over and over and over again, you are not going to be making progress in other areas that you could be. What if I make the wrong thing, make the wrong choice? Well, you can always fix it. You can always go back and paint over it. Acrylic paint is very forgiving. Grab your blow dryer, dry it off, and start again. That's one of the beauties of painting versus something like drawing, where you have more permanent marks, especially if you're drawing with pen. That's one of the reasons why I love to paint, is because I make mistakes all the time. It's very easy to simply make some adjustments as you go along. By the way, I'm adding in some Ultramarine Blue here, then straight into the white to make this blend a little bit easier and have a smoother transition. Again, kind of following that arch of the semicircle. Long brush strokes. More white here. You may notice that on my palette I have some red. I have some red oxide and a bit of the cadmium orange. Now those colors I'm going to be using in the next painting and the next abstract of this 3 that I'm doing in this one session here. So I will get to those colors, but I'm not going to be using them in this painting. To do this actual painting, all you need is Mars Black, Titanium White, Ultramarine Blue, and that's it. Everything else is just blending and mixtures of the two. Coming back in with my flat wash brush there, some more of the Mars Black, trying to better define this arch. More black. Now here, I start to branch out with these gray marks, but I think I'm going to get rid of those. Ruins the effect of what I was going for. Grabbing some white. Not too happy with this section. I'm going to blend this out and make some adjustments. Taking some more of the Ultramarine Blue, let's do a bit of a course correct here. Tone down that gray. Got a little overzealous with it. Let's get back to our semicircle. I like the way that looked a lot better. I'm going to come back in with some Mars Black and better define it in just a second. Having a little gray there is actually working for me, so I don't mind having some gray. I just had too much of it. It was too bold. It needs to be subtler. Some more of the white here. Back to the blue. Bring up the intensity. You notice that I'm starting on the far left-hand side, the bottom there where it's darker, and then working my way lighter. If you go the opposite direction, you'll ruin the gradation, so always start with the darkest section and work out from there if you're trying to make smooth transitions with your colors. Keeping the brushwork light, allowing the brush to do a lot of the work. Again, I'm not overthinking each of the strokes. I'm more reacting to what I'm getting, the different effects that I'm getting with my brush, than anything else. Now, I've said this before in other painting videos, but I think it's worth repeating. Painting should be fun. I really believe that you should be having a good time when you're painting. Some artists treat it like a super serious thing that we're doing, creating art. And if you're a professional working artist, then sure, you really do need to take it seriously. Practice a lot, work on your skills, get better and better, which is what I'm doing. But along the way, if you're not a professional working artist, let's say you're more of a hobbyist or someone who's never tried it before and wanted to give abstracts a try, then go for it. And remember that there are no rules to painting. There really isn't when you're doing an abstract. There are things that I like aesthetically and things that I'm shooting for in my work. I like gradation. I like uniform coloring in my abstracts. I like geometric patterns. I like movement. There are certain things about light and dark and creating depth in your abstracts. So there are certain qualities that I'm striving for and certain artists that I've seen in the past that I've enjoyed that I might be trying to emulate. Bringing in some of the Mars black there, strengthening the geometry of this painting, the focal point of it with that semicircle. Now I'm taking some of the gray and I'm going to bring some tendrils from the top right down over here. Returning to my discussion of the freedom that painting abstracts affords you. You really can't go wrong. You can have these crazy mismatch of all different colors and just be extremely high contrast and vibrant, and that's acceptable. If you like something that's one color, like Rothko, just red, the entire thing is one color, that's acceptable. You can create so much and try so many different things with this style of painting, and there really are no rules, and some people that's kind of scary, but for me it's extremely exciting. And ultimately, I always want to be having a good time when I'm painting. I'm not a super serious guy anyways, as you probably can tell, but I find that if I'm having a fun time and enjoying the process, then that's a good day. I don't want it to be to the point where I'm just not having fun anymore. I find that sometimes I paint a landscape and I have a great time doing it. And some days I just don't feel it. And if I'm not feeling it, I'm not having a good time, then why am I doing it? Really, why do I do it? So my strongest piece of advice is give it a try, go for it, you can do it, it's not as hard as it looks, and have some fun. Don't worry about making it perfect. It doesn't have to be. It's just for fun. I find that my best work is done when I'm not overthinking things, but when I'm letting my intuition guide me and just going for it. Be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Last few strokes here, and we're just about done. See my blog at impulsiveartistry.blogspot.com. Again, that's impulsiveartistry.blogspot.com. You can also find me on Etsy at etsy.com/shop/impulsiveartistry. I'm also on Instagram, on Twitter, and on Facebook, all under Impulsive Artistry. So check out my stuff, and I hope you have a great day. Thanks.